Welcome back, everybody, once again to your stimulus update for today. And I want to start things off by thanking you for being a part of this channel, for commenting, for liking the videos. I appreciate it so much. And all the comments that you guys find the news here valuable, that you trust the information that I'm giving out, that you appreciate the facts. We try to limit the hype a little bit. Sometimes I can get a little hyped, but that's okay. So on this episode, what I'm going to share with you is really the two only news stories that you need to worry about. Pretty much everything else is just fluff and distraction. The only things that are really big right now is the fact that the United States House of Representatives under Nancy Pelosi is going to write and probably pass a $2.4 trillion stimulus bill. So we're going to talk about that. And the other big news is the fact that Nancy Pelosi and Steven Mnuchin, the Secretary of the Treasury, who is the one who is negotiating for the White House and the Republicans, are in fact meeting up again to continue the negotiations on the next stimulus package. All right, welcome back, everybody. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to leave the better news story for the second one. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the fact that the House of Representatives under Nancy Pelosi is in fact going to write a new bill, a $2.4 trillion bill. The bill that they're going to write is the one that she has been supposedly negotiating with Steven Mnuchin. The problem is in her negotiations with Steven Mnuchin, she actually hasn't written anything. It's basically just been a blank check. She's wanted $2.4 trillion from the White House and obviously agreement with the Senate Republicans. And then the House of Representatives will design the bill itself after they agree to it. Of course, there's been no agreement to it. So now they've decided to go ahead and write the bill without the agreement, and then they're going to go ahead and pass it. The reason that this isn't really good news is because there's been no agreement on it. The fact of the matter is the negotiations between Nancy Pelosi and Steven Mnuchin haven't worked because that $2.4 trillion bill will not pass. In my opinion, the real reason that we don't have another stimulus bill comes down to two different entities. One of them is Nancy Pelosi and the other one is the Senate Republicans. Because let's be honest, Nancy Pelosi could easily come down to the Problem Solvers Caucus bill, which is $1.5 to around $2 trillion, a beautiful bill that's almost completely perfect. A few little things have to be added to it, and then it would be good to go. She could easily come down there. And the Senate Republicans could easily come up to 2, maybe 2.2, maybe $2.4 trillion, and they're stuck at such low numbers. So really, those are the only two entities to blame. And no one else. I mean, everyone else, Steven Mnuchin, Mark Meadows, Donald Trump, even many of the Democrats and Republicans in the House and the Senate, besides many of the conservative Senate Republicans, are all on board with this. So now Nancy Pelosi is going to go ahead and have this bill written and passed in the House. Woohoo, right? This is going to be great. No, it's not. It's not going to mean anything. This is completely political. There are some news stories that are reporting that this is to jumpstart negotiations again and get things rolling. No, it's not. It's basically to put it out there and say, see, we created a bill, we passed it in the House, but the Senate Republicans are not going to pass it, and we tried our best. It's all political. But she knows it's already not going to work. It's not, the negotiations with the $2.4 trillion bill didn't work. So you're going to write the bill for practically no reason. And that's why it's not necessarily the best news. It's just going to be used to back up whoever's point of view they want to back up, which is their own. So let's get into the better news. The better news is the fact that the negotiations have restarted up between Nancy Pelosi and Steven Mnuchin. This was a quote issued by Steven Mnuchin. I'm sure you've already seen it already because he issued it yesterday. And Steven Mnuchin said this. He said, I've probably spoken to Nancy Pelosi 15 or 20 times in the last few days, and we've agreed to continue to have discussions about the CARES Act. So that is the best news. That's the one that's really going to mean something, not this bill that they're creating for their own political means. It's really not going to go anywhere because there's been no agreement on it. My hopes is that with the talks, and the economy, by the way, is looking a lot better right now, whether we like it or not, there are a lot of numbers that are coming out that are looking better. Hopefully Nancy Pelosi will take a look at that and say, okay, we've got this bipartisan bill that everyone agrees on. It's $1.5 to $2 trillion. The economy is looking a lot better. We really want to help the people. We want to get money out to them. Let's come to an agreement. We're not going to agree with no $1.3 trillion or 1.5 necessarily, but let's lower it to around 1.7 to 2 and let's get something done. Hopefully that'll be the case, and hopefully Steven Mnuchin will agree to it. I believe he will, and once Donald Trump gets behind it, and he would as well, because guys, this benefits Donald Trump. Trump. A stimulus bill would benefit him. He's going to get behind whatever he can. Donald Trump can't pass the $2.4 trillion bill because the Republicans in the Senate won't pass it. That's why I told you the two responsible parties right now are the Republicans in the Senate and Nancy Pelosi, and them alone. So Donald Trump will back anything that they can get. Hopefully Nancy Pelosi will move there. However, in my opinion, I don't know that there's much of a benefit for her to do so. Yes, there's a benefit for the American people, but there's not a benefit for her to do it, because if she does it, it's going to make Donald Trump look good. It's going to prop up the economy. I mean, the stock market rebounded on the news that negotiations were just starting back up. Never mind if the negotiations worked. If they work, the economy's going to go nuts. People are going to get so much financial help. It's going to be wonderful. This is going to be excellent for Trump. So in my opinion, I don't really see her coming down at all. And unfortunately, Donald Trump can't make the Senate Republicans vote for a $2.4 trillion bill, even though I technically think that they should be able to. He can't force them to do it. He's just the president of the United States. He's not a part of that branch of government that makes those laws. So hopefully she'll do that if she really is for the American people. If she's not, this is going to be the proving factor. If she's not for the American people, she's only going to hold at around $2.2 to $2.4 trillion. If she truly wants to give aid to the American people, go with the Problem Solvers Caucus proposal, add a few little things to it if you need to, and then have that be the bill. If that's the case, then I will sit back and say Nancy Pelosi genuinely did care about the people. If that doesn't happen, I am going to sit back and say she genuinely only cared about herself and politics. And that's what I got to say about the matter. If you have to say anything different, leave the comments below. I would love to hear them, even the ones that are not necessarily for what I'm saying. Sometimes I comment to those even more. I did have a little back and forth with somebody who thinks the HEROES Act is the best thing since sliced bread. I do not. My challenge to anyone who thinks that the HEROES Act is a really good bill, that $3.4 trillion bill, this is my question to you. Explain to me how a $3.4 trillion bill, the biggest bill ever in the history of planet Earth, only includes one stimulus payment to the American people. How in the world is that a thing? And if that is a thing, how can that bill be as good as some people think it is? Because it's not. When the Problem Solvers bill includes up to 3 stimulus checks for the American people, and it's a lot cheaper. So I would love to hear the response on how a $3.4 trillion bill can only include one stimulus check and be that good. It's because the money is funneling to a lot of other people who are not you. Now, yeah, you can make the argument, well, eventually it'll funnel to me. Sure it will. A direct stimulus payment is exactly what you need, not the spider web of money funneling down to you somehow through the states. You know what I'm talking about? These people are politicians. I'd love to hear your responses. I think the video is going on a little long here. As always, leave the video a like. It really helps out a lot. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I will again catch you next time.